Howdy, y'all. Welcome to episode 62 of Unfinished Business. My name is Taylor, joined as always by Matt, Tyler, and Corey. We're going to talk about the Open at Austin. It was a pretty wild weekend for the Pro Tour. Before that, we like to give a few minutes of just what we're getting up to in the world of disc golf. And I had a revelation today, / last weekend as well. When I started playing disc golf in like 2008, early days, much like some other people in this podcast, I started from a golf background. And when I started playing with my church youth group, me and my dad, I played with my dad a lot, came from golf. We always did a practice swing, just a little warm up, just walk through the shot, feel it out. I got made fun of pretty ruthlessly for that in my early days of disc golf because they thought that was stupid. So from that day, I just stopped, just kind of internalized that, never did a practice swing. I started doing it again. I am so much better at disc golf when I do a little practice swing. I'm not going to lie. Specifically, my biggest issue recently has been like reaching back with my arm like supinated, so like palm up. Turns out that that's really bad, and it doesn't let your elbow come through the power pocket. So just a little sideways, just feeling that piece out. Chef's kiss. I'm good again. It's so great. I did not have integrity to begin with, Max. Sorry. That's my update.
I want to go last because I got a long story.
Oh, it's Ryder Cup week. Let's go. I'm so excited.
About that.
I've been withholding.
Let's go.
I've been withholding information for quite a long time now.
Matt, me or you? Go ahead, Corey. Speak to us.
Okay, so I played with Mac a few days ago. We were just having some fun. I shot some stuff for the Trash Panda Canyon, which is really good disc. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. They sent me one of those boxes, and I actually I got really excited opening that box because it's all the wanted posters, and mine said something about really good edits. So I was just like super pumped. I needed to make this edit really good. So then we ended up going to a local course and just like kind of tossing. Mac is actually having fun in disc golf, which is awesome.
Hey, congrats, Mac.
Usually he's the one that's like, yeah, I take it so seriously, blah, blah, blah. I'm a grumpy man. And
we really are the same person.
He's actually having a lot of fun just tossing like every disc that is like applicable to the hole. And he's having a lot of fun. I was having a lot of fun with the Canyon. It's a 4-speed, 4302, not super overstable, but not straight. And it's so comfortable in the hand, Tyler. You have no idea. Okay? The plastic that I don't know what the plastic is made out of because obviously everything is recycled. But it's this like orange, just like creamy, beautiful plastic. It's got a bead on it.
I've never heard a disc described as creamy before, and that made me a little uncomfortable.
Well, okay. Think of like orange cream lifesavers. Like that's kind of what we'll move on.
It's
anyway,
that thing's creamy.
So
orange cream popsicle. That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah. So today I am in Chicago. I had to take a day trip for work. Then at the very end of the day, they said, hey, do you mind sticking around and coming in tomorrow? So I don't have my bag or anything, but I wanted to go throw after work. I went to a plate again. I picked up a white-on-white Predator and an orange-on-orange Force. And then I played 9 holes, and I almost aced 2 of the holes by my standards of almost acing, which is I didn't have to hit metal, but I got really close. Like, you know when you almost pee a little bit because you're like, whoa! And then like you hold it. Yeah. So that was fun. And I think that's all that happened because it's been kind of like cold and not cold at the same time. Like we had that spurt of like 70 degrees for like a week and a half, and now it's back to like mid 30s. So pure Michelin.
It looked like the Canyon wasn't like a disc that wanted to get to the ground quickly. It looked like a disc that wanted to like push, but when it ran out of speed, it really started to really crash hard at the end.
Yeah, so I think it's like literally the most proper 4-speed because I was throwing it next to like the sector, and the sector goes so much farther, and it's a proper 5-speed. This feels the same. Like you throw it and you're like, oh, it's going. But then yeah, it does just like kind of run out of space to glide. So it's a fun disc. What about you, Matt? What'd you do?
I was in New Jersey and New York City for the weekend, so that was cool. Quick guess on how cold the water was I got in this weekend. Anyone want to throw out
27 degrees
Celsius.
what? I got in
4 degrees Kelvin.
it was 37 degrees water temperature, 40 degrees air temperature. Got in that for a second. Never felt that way in my entire life. Afterwards we looked up, and the people who do like ice baths typically keep their water at between 44 or 45 and 55 degrees. So
I was gonna say,
we were
did you Instagram live it like Ricky Wysocki?
No, because it took my one buddy. My buddy dared me and said, if you get in the water, or if I get in the water, will you get in the water? I said, yeah. It took him an hour, but he finally got in the water. And so I
For
just
40 degrees?
40 degrees in the water. Corey, I don't under
my cold tub or whatever you call it is set to 43 degrees.
Yeah. So it's 40 degrees outside and 37 in the water.
Yeah, it's chilly.
Yeah, but it took an hour.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
you
lame.
just gotta
walked
do it.
forward.
If you don't do it right away, then you're just don't do it.
I just walked forward, stood for 3 seconds, and then walked all the way in. But it was cold in a way I've never experienced. Played disc golf on the number 5 course in New Jersey, something Woods. Pretty good course, pretty fun course.
Walton Woods, that's where I live.
I think this one is literally called Walton Woods.
Same course.
I'm not lying. Pretty fun course. Magically,
that course too.
Over the off season, I've just gained like 50 feet on my forehand, but I've done no work on my forehand other than a couple little tips. Don't know how that's happened, but it kind of
you got engaged.
Maybe so, but it's now forcing me to like.
Jeez.
It's now forcing me to think about like my forehand can rival my backhand at this point. So like, what do I do? And finally, guys, the Evelina Destroyers are so straight. I had one sitting in my bag that I never threw because I thought it could be my wind fighter. And then I popped it out the other day and threw it, and it was way straighter than my Wraith. And I was like, yeah, that's probably a problem. So that'll be coming out of the bag soon. But that's it. Played a fun course. Pretty good with some buddies. What about you, Tyler? You have the big dog status this week.
Give the people some background here.
I will. Don't worry. I've been mapping out how I'm going to talk about this for days now. Matt, what city did you play that disc golf course in?
It was beside Lake Hop a token or something. I'll look at where it's at.
Hip Hop Anonymous.
Hip Hop Anonymous.
Never mind. Big Daddy.
Great.
Wait, I can
I was
tell
talking
you.
to Matt.
Oh, my bad.
Matt doesn't know any movies.
Lake Hop.
Hip Hop Anonymous.
HOPATCONG.
What?
All right, we'll have to look at it later.
It's in Dover. It's in Dover. It's in Dover.
WXYZ.
Greystone Woods in Dover is where.
Oh, all right. I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I played there. Not bad.
Anyways,
all right. So we had our Ryder Cup this weekend, and this was like a thing where I said last week where I put out in the group chat, hey, I'm going to play some disc golf on Saturday. Like I'm available to play for a couple rounds. And all of a sudden everyone's like, yo, Ryder Cup, we're doing this. And then we organized it crazy. So I just want to, and it was at Iron Hill. I was the TD for the event. We played 18 holes team golf. So we played the first 9 was alternate shot. The second 9 was regular dubs or scramble. And then we played another 9 holes, which is the front 9, smaller layout a little bit. And that's singles matches where you're going one-on-one. And that was match play. So the team events was stroke play. The singles was match play. So in our group, the captains were about C players, D players that were picking the teams. My one buddy got, and so how it works for Ryder Cup draft is if you get the first pick, you get the fourth pick. And so if you get the second pick, you get the third pick. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and then it goes 4, and then it alternates from there, just to kind of make it a little bit more closer, fair, whatever the case may be. So one team is just not getting the first pick every single time. So I consider myself probably like the second best player in the group. My one buddy got picked first, knew that was happening. And then it came to the next picks, and the other captain said, "What's Tyler's record in blood matches at Iron Hill?" And I was like, 0-2 against Ron and Kyle. And he was like, "All right, I'm picking Ron and Kyle."
What is a blood match?
Blood match is where you and another
loses.
You and another
you take 15 paces and throw a forehand.
That would be really funny to do, but also scary at the same time. It's just like if you and another person have some bad blood, and then you're like, all right, a blood match needs to happen. You and this person gotta go one-on-one. So blood match is always Iron Hill, and it's always the pro layout, gold to gold. So it's just a dog fight. So anyways, I've lost on the last hole in both my matches to these guys. So the other guy took both those guys, and the whole chat was like, whoa, you just totally like skipped over Tyler. And I was like, all right, I see how this is. So then I got picked fourth. And so anyways, then we got our team. On paper, it looked like we were probably going to lose because the other two guys' best courses are Iron Hill, the ones that have beaten me. So anyways, we teamed up, me and the best player, who's also my buddy, to be in a team for alternate shots. So we said, all right, let's try to secure 1 point, and the other grouping will be the C player and D player, and we'll just, whatever happens, happens. So we had to choose our lineup first, and then they had to choose. So they ended up sending out their A and B player, which is their picks 2 and 3, against me and my buddy's A player. So we go out in an alternate shot. So we alternate T-pads and also alternate shots. And so we go out there and we absolutely annihilated them. We beat them by 6 strokes in 9 holes. So what was crazy about that is that set the tone for those guys the rest of the match, because they were debilitated because they were not ready. We went up 2 on the very first hole. We birdied and they bogeyed, and then we just never looked back. So we got a point there. The other guys, our team, the other A, C, and D player, they lost. So after alternate shot team, we're tied 1-1 in points. Then we went into doubles, and we kept the same teams. We're like, all right, let's just do the same thing. Let's secure a point with me and Jesse as A players. Their A player picked up probably their C or D player, who is a good thrower but not a great putter. And me and my buddy, we went down 1 shot the very first hole, and we both looked at each other simultaneously and was like, yo, we need to lock in. So we go birdie the next 2 holes. They go par birdie. So we're tied on 13. They throw their tee shot first. They hit a tree limb. Both are terrible throws, but one hit a tree limb, got to 20 feet to the basket. My one buddy hits early tree, 100 feet down. I step up, I throw. I'm thinking I'm acing this thing. Hits about 10 feet past the basket and skips 70 feet. So now we're like, all right, cool. We got to keep this close. So I jokingly, because I'm in a good mood, asked the other guys, I'm like, hey, is this in or out? And they're like, that's out of the circle. And I was like, yeah, I know, but it's going to look like it was in the circle. I do a step putt, jam the putt from 80 feet. I give a big fist pump, say, let's go. And they were they thought they were picking up a stroke there. And then that just set the tone the rest of that match. Went down to the last. Big fist. And so went down to the last hole. They both hit first available. We both hit the gap, and we ended up parring. They bogeyed. And so then we took the points there. So we're up 2-1. The other group behind us are our 2 singles. They went down to the very last putt, I think, and the other team made their putt. So anyways, now we're 2-2 going into singles. And now how it works in singles is you just rank players 1 to 4 any way you want. And the other team does the same. And so you randomly get paired with someone based off who they want to send out in what order. And there's some strategy, right? So you want to get up early in the match because the whole group knows whoever wins what match immediately. So you want to kind of get ahead early, and then you also want to have you're probably one of your best players at the end as well. So the group decided to put me as the 4 guy, which is the last guy, because I was playing the best so far. And lo and behold, I won my match because I played against their C or D player. I won my match 4-3, which means I went up 4 holes. I went up 4 holes with 3 to go. That was pretty easily wrapped up. Our A player played their B player, and they tied on the very last putt from the other team. So we got a half point. So we need one more full point. And the guy in my group, he halved his point against their A player, and it was our D player. That was huge. So all we have to do is get a half point with this other guy, and we win. And the other guy has a 40-footer to win and to win outright the event. We're all sweating. What's so funny? Oh, minutes up. Yeah, I know, Scott. Thanks. I'm actually telling the story as fast as I can. So, anyways, the other team has this putt. Oh, not to win the match, but to tie the event. I think that's what it was, or something like that. He has a 40-foot putt. He whiffs the putt to like 25 feet. The guy goes to then get his 25-footer just to have the point and doesn't make the putt for that. And we ended up winning by 2 full points. So our team won 5-3. And let me tell you what, that team was so quiet. And I played so well. I didn't have to say a single word in our group chat about that's what you get for picking me 4th and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I played extremely well. I went 3-0 in my matches. So in the last 2 Ryder Cups, I'm 5-1-0. So I've tied 1, haven't lost any. I'm on fire. I mean,
I feel like there's a different Tyler when there's like competitive pressure on the line. Like I feel like you're 2 different people.
Yeah, we've never seen that before.
I mean, listen.
I've seen Tyler on the most casual practice round ever versus slight competitive, and even that is a very big switch on or off based on what you're doing.
What was really cool, though, is that I played Friday afternoon and 18 holes at Iron Hill, and I also lifted leg day on Friday morning. Then I went and played 27 holes at Iron Hill, which is a hike. You're hiking pretty much. Yeah. And then my wife, we were able to have my in-laws watch our kids, and my wife was like, hey, we have like 3 hours together. You want to go play disc golf? And I was like, I'm not going to say no.
Can't say no to that. Yes.
So we went to Brantwood.
Crazy.
Yeah, we went to Brantwood, which is like a long track, wide open, and we went and played. And even my wife, who like doesn't like to like blow my head up and she'll knock me down when I need to get knocked down because I get too cocky. She even said to me on Sunday, she was like, this is the best I've ever seen your throw. Like, you're on point on every throw. And I was like, my game is on right now. So
Tyler's getting generationally glazed right now.
I really was. Like, everyone was like, everyone on the team was like, Tyler smoked him. But the best part of all is that their best player, who I lost in the blood match over really crazy circumstance on 17, who low-key always trying to say he's better than me and blah blah blah, which is fine. I truly don't care, but I thought it was funny because he was in my group for 27 holes and had to watch me play just dominant disc golf, and he played some of the worst disc golf I've ever seen. And it felt really good. So I was like, and here's the thing, that team, no congratulations in the group chat, no nothing, because I am probably the number one hated person in the group. Because I love to talk trash before these events and just to make it exciting, and no one else does. And then sure enough, when you go out and you play the best, like no one wants to say anything. So I was joking with our guys. I'm like, that chapter's closed, dude. So
that's 2 group chats that you're the most hated out of.
Hey, I'm used to it, man. I'm used to it. But I think also, before we move on to more serious stuff, I want to address one thing early in the show. And I just want to let everyone know that this has been a lot of fun doing this podcast. My wife and I were reviewing a lot of things in my life and with kids and maybe more kids in the future, my job changing, and I'm picking up a bunch of other side hustles. I reached out to Gary from Foundation Disc Golf, who does their podcast, and I said, hey, I'm looking to step away. Would you mind filling in for the show and kind of help just running it a little bit with everybody or whatever? And I messaged Taylor and Corey because I know Matt loves Gary. And I messaged Taylor and Corey. It's like, hey, would you be cool with this guy stepping in? So I'll still be in the Discord. It's a lot harder than I thought. You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not freaking leaving. I ain't going nowhere. I'm trolling you the whole time, everybody. Trolled, baby.
I think Ryan actually got depressed. Oh, I knew you were joking the whole time. There was no, because here's the thing: if you wanted that to happen, you would have asked me to message him. I was like, that's I knew. But Ryan was actually like, dang, Tyler's leaving. It won't be the same.
No, I'm not going anywhere, you fools. Please, kidding me? Take a lot more to kick me out than just stupid kids. You kidding me? No, I just wanted to play a funny joke on Matt. April Fools, Matt. Early April Fools.
Oh, well,
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Stock is indeed plummeting.
It would have been so funny to have Gary on next week, but it's the day after April Fool's Day. So
that would have been really funny.
Yeah, it would have been really good if it was the actual day.
Hopefully we can. Have you actually ever talked to Gary, Tyler?
No.
He's actually pretty chill. He's going to be there at the Q series that Mac's at, so there's a chance we can.
He's going to be doing what with them?
We could fight him.
He lives right in the area, so he'll be around. I already talked to him about it a little bit, but
wait, what Q series are we talking about?
The one in PA.
Oh, the one in yeah,
in Lancaster.
Yeah, I didn't realize Gary is friends with what the heck is his name? Dan something. Who also has a YouTube channel.
Dan Bilzerian, everyone's favorite influencer.
Yeah.
No.
That has never done anything wrong or has never peddled a lifestyle at all that's bad.
Great guy.
No problems ever.
There's the Ryder Cup recap. That was some competitive disc golf that happened this last weekend. We also had Pro Tour disc golf happening this past weekend. A lot of storylines coming out of that one. We got Nicholas Antila taking it down, going back to back. We got Holland Handley holding on to her lead. If anybody wants to start recapping really quick, I'm going to fix my light that just died, and I'm going to get another one. So BRB.
Guys, can I just say it right away?
What? What are you going to say, Matt?
I don't think hole 18 is that hard for the FPO.
I love hole 18. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm hearing 150 feet to 250 feet as the max amount to get on the island. I watched Cam, who used to live in this area. Now he lives down there. He's a coach with Overthrow. Literally just stand in front of the hole for 10 minutes and on repeat, just throw forehands, backhands, tomahawks, everything. Half of his shots were hitting the island, and he's throwing them like just as quick as possible. The idea that like Holland Handley says, I don't think that half of the FPO can reach this hole in a headwind. How much easier are we supposed to make? Like, I understand it's a tunnel gap and it's a difficult shot, but like, what was it? Sarah Hokum threw 4 hyzer forehands and just went early until she finally decided to throw one flat forehand and immediately got there. I don't really think that I don't think that hole is that hard. I mean,
I had said that it's very apparent that we can't throw 250 straight on the FPO, which is really sad. It seems like a lot of people struggled with how to figure that out. I don't know why that wasn't figured out earlier. So I don't know.
Yeah. And to add on to that, something Cam mentioned is like a lot of these FPO were so worried about distance that they were taking their drop directly in front of the OB line, which put you at a decent slope uphill. And so you were throwing nose up, nose up, nose up. Cam scooted back 10 feet, and he's getting there every time. And he was like, hey, it's flat now. Brixton, I will, in fact, hit that island. I will, in fact, hit that
I
island.
will. We can arrange Matt's trip down there to see this. I have some qualms with hole 18. Mainly in that, like, nobody can tell me.
What are they?
Nobody can tell me that it's a good design. Like, the hole is well designed when the answer to the, like, oh, how do we make it easier is just break the OB rules and throw it out the back of the OB. Like, that should not be the goal for, like, playing the hole well. I think what gets me more than, like, is it too hard? Is it not too hard? I think what gets me is that when FPO played this at US Women's last year, this was not a top 3 hardest FPO hole on the course. This was a top 3 hardest FPO hole that they played all year on tour last year. And they made it much harder than it was last year. Like, I don't get the thought process of, hey, you know, that super hard hole on our course that, like, was super punishing? What if we just make it 10 times worse? Like, what do we make that 10 times harder for them? I think the biggest thing for me is that there's not a good way to play that hole safely, at least OB wise, unless you're just, again, taking the thought process of, oh, I'll just throw it as hard as I can out the back of the island and not care and just take my OB stroke from there. But yeah,
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, so the OB
You're just
rules
saying
were,
it crosses, right?
So
yeah.
it's the same thing as hole 16 last year when Simon won D-Glow, where he just, like, ripped it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you actually had to make it.
Yeah, so the OB rules were, if you missed the island, if you did not cross the island at all, then you you had to rethrow and had 4 rethrows from wherever you were. But if you crossed inbounds the island at any point, so if your disc flew over the island at any point, you then go to the drop zone, which I think is just a bad design, even from the sense of then you have to rely on, again, a situation where, like, oh, did my disc cross inbounds or not? Like, was everybody paying attention? Do we have to have this vote again? Like, I just think that there's ways around that can be a little bit simpler.
Where was the drop zone?
I think it was like a 40-footer or something like that. Okay. Like from, like, the base of the island.
So this hole in general, I love that it's like you throw as far as you can to get up to that little, like, mound, and then you throw over the mound to an island, and everything in between I love that concept. I think if you miss the island, the drop zone for that should have been on top of the walkway thing. I think that would have made it kind of cool to have, like, a small tee pad up there, or, like, well, at least just like a drop zone, because then you wouldn't have to throw over it again from, like, before it. But outside of that, I mean, I think it's a great hole.
I have a question. How far do they need to manage this type of shot when they were playing Las Vegas? Because Las Vegas has a island to an island par 4 or whatever the case may be. So what is the manageable distance from their tee pad to the one layup area, then to the final green? I'm wondering
is
how
that whole stroke in distance though? That's an actual question. I don't know.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know.
You have to get a waiver for it to be stroke and distance in disc golf.
I'm not quite sure, but that's the one comparison I was thinking about that is kind of similar-ish. The one thing I don't understand is I've definitely played holes where the island is just circle 1, and it doesn't seem that hard from 250. Now, if we're going to do the whole boy-girl thing, it doesn't make a difference with distance and everything like that. But I don't know. I just think you got to – I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I mean, just throw the shot or figure something out. I think this is the truly only thing that I really think is a good positive that came out from this, is that it's gonna have to start making people to think about how to play golf. That's the only thing I can think of, which I enjoy, but You know,
Yeah.
no one wants to see someone throw shot after shot after shot after shot and not make the island or whatever the case may be. There has to be another way to do it.
Yeah, that part, there could be something else. Now, they said that they wanted to make it more open, like for OB and stuff like that. But there's a bunch of stairs and stuff like that if it's wet, it's like pretty terrible to be on. And so they were just like, if we make it OB, we never have to worry about it, period. It's whatever. I don't know on that. But
yeah, I think the worst case scenario that was hit with this hole is like take other like iconic stroke and distance holes in disc golf, right? Like hole 17 at Winthrop, you play stroke and distance. One, it doesn't play stroke and distance for FPO. It doesn't play the same. And then two, you can chip that shot much closer down into the left and have a shorter approach. Same thing with 16 at the Beast that plays stroke and distance. Like you can run into the Anthony Barella situation where he's just chucking discs over and over, but you also can play that shot much closer. I think the thing that got this hole at least painted in such a bad light is like all of this blowing up was happening at, realistically the closest you could get to that basket without, advancing any further or making that shot any easier for yourself, where there wasn't any like quote unquote counterplay to that. Also just a tough shot, throwing uphill. I'm assuming Texas wind was at play. I'm not going to make the Matt statement and say I could make the island without going and trying it myself. I also am just bad at disc golf. So, me.
Okay. Corey will make this statement. I guess if I don't make the island the first time, I am just absolutely throwing over the island and just knowing that I'm not going to get on it and then taking my drop from the back of the island. Let me ask you this question, Taylor. If we have some, thing like 2 tries and you advance to a drop zone 50 feet from the basket or something like that, does that quell some of your thoughts on the hole just so you don't get FPO getting stuck there on repeat? Or
either that, or I think the idea of making it bunker rule is better too. Like having it be like you have to rethrow but not also an OB stroke helps a lot there, to where you're not kind of getting double penalized for that. I think my main qualm with the hole though really is just the fact that it is a legitimate, like probably higher percentage play to again just throw out the back of the island. Like I feel like that should never really be incentivized.
Is it possible to do like OB rule on your first throw, and if you miss the island, then it becomes a bunker?
Really, anything's possible.
Yeah,
because you're getting a waiver at that point anyway, right? Like,
yeah, you have to get a
wavering
waiver.
it up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think just the statement maybe that I didn't realize fully is when Holland said like, hey, at 250 with a headwind, half of the FPO field cannot get that distance. Like that was a surprise to me. It's not like I was, based on their play, I do watch a good bit of FPO, but
yeah,
I don't know. That was I think because I'm seeing Disc Tay, I'm seeing Holland Hanley, I'm seeing a lot of
but you're
Ezra.
seeing the top 10%.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the top 10% throwing 450 and saying, or like 400 or something, and I'm thinking like, that's tough to do.
Which I guess I missed that. She's saying like that distance in general. Like I guess everything I've heard is that there's an angle, like because it is that much, like it is significantly uphill, right? So you're also having to throw something pretty nose up that doesn't allow for a lot of hyzer to like stick the island. Like I just assumed that was like that shot specifically was difficult.
Yeah. So she just specifically said, hey, half of the FPO field with a headwind will not be able to throw the disc 250.
Yeah.
Which is she right? Is she wrong? Max seems to think she's wrong.
Yeah, I think surely that's not correct, but I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
Genuinely, it could be like if you're considering the entire FPO field versus just like what we're seeing on coverage, right?
Yeah. So I have a random question. If you threw the disc of choice and missed the island, would you use part of your 30 seconds to go run and grab it so you can come back?
Can you do that?
I don't know. And I feel like you should be able to, because it's in your 30 seconds.
I think the foundation guys did a video on this like last year with Robbie or after AB's thing or 2 years ago. And I think the answer is yes.
But you
technically can.
Frisbees.
But you do have like really limited time.
But if you're throwing from there to like the
if you
island,
get your caddy to throw it back to you, that's not a practice stroke, right? Like just have somebody up there.
He's in the middle of the OB, just kind of
just like
oh, you missed, and then chuck it back. I don't know.
Any other thoughts on this event? I enjoyed these courses more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I especially compared to Waco specifically, like it was fun on the MPO side, like having it come down to like players playing well versus like players kind of falling apart. This was an Isaac Robinson event for Nicholas for me, where like you watch him play this weekend, and I genuinely don't understand how he doesn't win like 5 tournaments a year. Was so locked in. Like his backhand was incredible, and his putt was just a center pole from like 40 and in.
Dude, people were putting compilations of like his throw on this hole 10 times or like every round, and just how close they were to the identical every single round. And it was just so impressive.
My biggest takeaway too, I had a vested interest in Gannon down the stretch because I picked Gannon. I wanted Gannon to win. Hole 14 really killed Gannon, and Mac and I talked about this quite a bit in the Discord, and I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on it as well. So on hole 14, after his drive, he was kind of pinched against a pretty small tree on his right side and was trying to throw a flex forehand into the basket. And he chose to, and he made a very, I won't say a very bad shot, but he did throw out of bounds. So probably a very bad shot by Gannon Burr standards. But he threw a flex forehand and he straddled to his left to where his right foot was like the plant foot behind the marker. And I just feel like there is absolutely never a situation where if I'm trying to throw a forehand, specifically a flex forehand, that I am going to throw with my right foot planted. Like that has to be the most awkward thing in the world.
So me and Mac actually had this conversation when we were playing together, because I was not directly behind a tree, but very close. And I was asking him, okay, it's an upshot, maybe 150, 170 feet. What would you do in that scenario? And what he ended up doing was kind of just like leaning back and doing the backhand, but his hand almost hit the tree.
Yeah.
And what I was saying is, without even hesitation, what I would do is straddle out and kind of throw around the tree forehand. And then he also brought up, what about putting your right foot and like going this way and going before the tree? And I thought that was very awkward, but apparently they're one and the same, I guess. Like Mac thinks that that's a normal shot.
Like to me, that feels like trying to like throw a backhand planted on my left foot. Like that is so strange. Like
Well, I had my partner do that shot this weekend actually, where his right foot was against a tree. He was leaning out left, and what he does is to flex it, you kind of just fall to the left-hand side when you throw. It's kind of like a fadeaway is what you're supposed to do. If you do like the fadeaway, then, but the only thing about that is that someone could call you for your foot behind your disc lifting before you actually throw the shot. So you have to really get rid of that, really focus on getting rid of that disc as you're falling off. But yeah, my buddy did that shot this weekend, but it is the most awkward thing ever. I will almost always choose not to do that because I've been burned by that type of shot, which is exactly what happened to Gannon.
Yeah.
Why he did that with a skinny tree, I have no idea.
It looked like he had so much room to just straddle out to the right side and throw that flex forehand, but yeah, it was definitely awkward. And then he almost made the putt anyway, which would have been wild, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean, we talked about it in the Discord, like why didn't Caddy say something or be like, hey, are we sure about this? But I'll tell you right now, playing in a team event where you're trying to talk to your buddy, like sometimes when you've seen somebody pull off some incredible shots and is arguably the number one player in the world, how do you stop him and say, hey, are you sure you know what you're doing? Because all of a sudden now what you're doing is you're putting doubt into that player's mind.
Right.
And so then if he then throws a bad shot after you've said that, then he could get mad at you for putting doubt in his mind. So it's probably there's probably no relationship Well, actually, I think Gannon has actually said that Schleyback has said to him a couple things about what he could be doing. But if there was ever a time to say something that was that obvious, that was that time to say, hey, why are you not straddling out to the right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, as a caddy, you got to think about your terminology to your player. So for me, what I used to do when I caddied for golf is I would say, hey, walk me through your thought process right now. And that would be another way of me kind of, saying, are you sure you want to do that? And
Sure about that?
Slow down and
You sure
think through
about
it a little
that?
bit. Yeah.
You sure
Yeah.
about that?
So there's certain words and certain ways you can talk to your player to help them figure it out. But yeah, crazy decision. Really screwed him up. He was cooking with fire to that point, it felt like.
Yeah.
I really like that this tournament was won by Gannon and then Niklas, and then this year it was them like fighting to the death also.
Yeah, it was actually what I was just going to say was like this tournament has kind of been Nicholas and Kyle both have done really well here prior. Do you think this is a sign of more to come this season, or do you think this is just an Open at Austin thing?
Well, Gannon won the very first inaugural one 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Kyle was injured last year, right?
some
Or
parts.
the second half of the year. Yeah, I don't know.
he did well at this event last year. I think he finished in the top 3.
Yeah.
That's why I picked him, is because I was like, dude was in the top 3. Guess I'm going for it. I was kind of scrambling for my last pick.
Yeah. Lost by 1 last year as well. Well, I guess it was playoff this year, but
What's like the next 3 tournaments?
Music City and then Champions Cup is pretty soon.
Is Music City before Champions Cup?
Well, it used to not be, but
Yeah, Champions Cup just moves all the time.
well, usually it'd be like Texas State after Austin is what they have done, but now they've made that a silver series or something like that.
Yeah, so then now Music City Open, Kansas City Wide Open, and then Champions Cup after that.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense because then you're going Nashville and then going that way.
Yeah.
I thought you were going Nashville and then just straight to California. that's a little
long
aggressive.
drive.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Music City. Can you see Kyle and Niklas doing well at Music City and Kansas City Wide Open?
It's Music City is a different course again, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I think so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
The one thing that Niklas has proven is that if there's any sort of little tricky, like intricate type of lines to hit, he's just going to hit them. Like that's where he thrives. And his turnover game has got to be the best ever. Has to be. I haven't seen a better guy.
So is it Kansas City Wide Open or Kansas City Wide Open?
I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
So it's a wide open course in Kansas City?
I think Kansas City itself is just wide open.
Okay. Because like you could also read that as like, oh, it's the Kansas City Wide Open. Because like that's a good play on words. That's almost as good as Waco.
Almost.
Yeah.
This is Kansas City Wide Open.
I mean, it could be.
Also, I love Music City as being phrased as MVPs or MVP's Music City Open, and not to be confused with the MVP Open. They're like making sure it's the apostrophe S for the sponsorship now.
Who sponsored the event this weekend?
Oh, it had like 4 different names.
But wait, I was just thinking back. I just watched the final round today.
This was a P disc golf name. MVPs. This is what I was thinking of. MVPs Open at Austin, presented by Flight Factory Discs.
Yeah, he hit MVPs Open of Austin, presented at Flight Factory Discs. Is how he announced it at the end, and I was like, "What is going on?" But
so technically, it's MV Poo.
Real quick, just to get you guys' thoughts, kind of wrap up on Open at Austin. I think Sprinkle Valley not have the best reception here this year. Would you like to see this used as a course on the Pro Tour moving forward, or would you like to have them change courses?
I think it is a good point of people saw it. People got to kind of like rate it how they want. We can find the things that we can change to make it a better course. And then it's a great course. Why not?
Yeah, I like Sprinkle. It kind of felt like Sprinkle could be the new Waco in some ways. On some of the holes are shorter, but it's a little step up in difficulty. I enjoyed the course a lot. So yeah, like Corey said, you make some changes, you make some stuff, even if we like the relative design of hole 18, adding a drop zone, something else for FPO and doing some stuff like that, you get to a place where everyone likes it, I think.
How do you feel about, wasn't there a path to the left of the OB for everyone to walk around to the island?
Yeah.
What if you make that just fair play for if you don't want to go for the island? You just have to go around and then like chip up to the island.
Yeah.
You mean like what is it? 2 or 3 of the holes at New London, hole 6 and hole
they have that
whatever
one,
else.
Like, it's technically a peninsula because they didn't want to make it an island.
Yeah, they don't want to have to deal with all that.
Yeah. Or I was thinking of that one hole at, was it Waco? That has that like over the river island. Maybe it's not Waco. There was.
Oh, I think I know. No, I think I know what you mean.
They
it might have been
last
Waco.
year. They played it last year for sure, but they were like doing a big spike hyzer over the water, or there was like that awkward path.
Yeah, I think
they
it
should
was
just
Waco.
do that.
I think it was.
Yeah, that's hole 18 at Waco.
Yeah.
We've done this every week, so I want to ask it. Grade the event.
Strong B.
I actually like. Okay.
B plus.
I like this.
What'd you say, Taylor?
Strong B.
Strong B.
Yeah, strong B. I like this course. I like this course more than I expected to, even though I've already seen it a little bit. I think I go A-.
I'm gonna give it a B-.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good range.
So on average, we're like just above a B.
Around a B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, there is a Pro Tour this last weekend. We got a weekend off upcoming. Probably go through a tour to maybe talk about next week as far as professional disc golf. As far as amateur disc golf, we all played, except for Matt, some disc golf recently for our weekly challenge. We post these in the Discord. We play tags with them. It's so much fun. It's awesome. Join the Discord. Take part in it. Matthew, do we have a official weekly challenge update?
We do have an official weekly challenge update this week. There were only 4 competitors, Taylor, Corey, Tyler, and Mac, and the challenge was spring. You could bring out a disc that starts with an S, a disc that starts with a P, R, until you spell spring. So we had some interesting combos.
Corey made it sound like you don't know how you
okay, I'm done.
S, P, and then all the way until you can spell spring.
Yeah. And everyone posted some rounds here. And once again, using our system that Mac made us, we have a new updated leaderboard for this week. And coming in at 4th place, Corey Kramer.
Number 4, baby. Lock it down.
Still
Mr. Consistency.
More Mr. Consistency. At 3rd place, it is Taylor. 3rd. He had a 219. Yep. There. Number 2 is Mac. Barely snuck this one by, but he got there.
That means 2 weeks in a row. Let's go.
Tyler is a number 1. He's our number 1.
I'm on my game right now, dude. Get off me, Mac. Bring the heat,
Bring
baby.
That handicap down. Keep playing good rounds, baby. I love it.
Say, we got run-through update. And we did not discuss this beforehand, but someone had the suggestion for this. So we're going to take this as our next weekly challenge.
Oh, no.
And that is you can only throw 1 disc per manufacturer.
Suck it, Mike. Oh, you're not.
One
disc in the Discord.
So is it unlimited? As long as you have them, unlimited.
Mike says I'm playing in the next challenge. Enough of that. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Okay.
Mac, you get 1 disc. Choose
you
well.
Get 1 disc. Choose well. We'll actually say here's the thing. There's some that are kind of stinkers. Like you're like, oh, I have an MVP disc and I have an Axiom disc. Do we want to allow that or no?
No.
Oh no, that's
Manufacturer.
one brand. Yeah.
But do we want to allow? Oh, I have a Latitude 64 disc and I have a Discmania.
No,
disc.
I'm saying like Thought Space. That's MVP. It's whoever makes the disc.
All right, one disc, one manufacturer. So as many as you can find. Pop out your.
Like for me, I will not
disc.
bring like an Infinite and an Innova disc.
Yes,
That's
I would agree with that statement. And you're doing 18 holes, and 18 holes, full UDIS stats. Post on our Discord. Yes, sir.
So, can you do technically 2 Discmania discs, but one was made by MVP or not MVP, Innova, and one was made by like
Absolutely.
Absolutely, but it takes your Innova slot. So
yeah, but I'm saying like for people that have that, technically you could have two of something because someone might have made like Thought Space could technically be Discraft and MVP.
Yeah.
No, Thought Space is different.
What do you mean?
What? Huh?
Thought Space and Discraft, that's different, right?
They have
their newest disc is made by Discraft.
Yeah.
I know, but like they're the I don't know how to.
No. I'm saying you can have 2 Thought Space discs as long as one is that new one from Discraft and another one is the MVP made. And then that would be your Discraft and MVP slots.
I mean, that's not. No one's gonna do that, but yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
I'm just throwing out the outliers.
Corey will do it.
Corey will do it just to be a freak.
I have 0 Thought Space, and I will go buy 2. This
is a great question. Mac is asking if you can have a Prodigy Discs Ace line.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep. Get out that F Model OS or something.
P Model S.
P Model S and get cracking.
Mac, just go out there. No one's gonna look at you. Grab a bunch of different manufacturers. Come on now, break the rules.
Yeah, I highly doubt Will is going to be like, wait a minute.
Will's out there
Yeah.
on the course just waiting.
Yeah.
But take full stats, put them in our Discord. We'll make a post for this and continue to have fun with it. But just 18 holes. And we're chilling. We should be chilling.
Anyone learn anything or nothing?
I learned a lot. I think there's a high chance that I'm gonna unironically bag a groove. Let me tell you something about the groove.
I want one so bad.
So when I grip a forehand, like I grip it, with my hand, and then I rest my ring finger on the edge of the rim, like when I'm about to throw. With the groove, I found that I can put my ring finger in the groove and it gives me like another contact point, and it may be completely placebo, but I was slinging that thing on forehand, man. That was crazy.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
In the groove. I also learned that I may, as soon as my time with the Tomb is over, I genuinely think I might just putt with the Invader. That thing is so sick.
You know who used to putt with an Invader?
Yeah, Mac, you got any XT Invaders for your boy?
I don't know what he putted with plastic-wise, but he for sure has some.
That thing was sick. I loved it.
Yeah. I will say, I don't know who was worse at this this last challenge, me or Matt. Because Matt didn't do it, so he obviously lost. But I shot probably the worst disc golf I've played in a long time. I was out in the Cleveland area, right, like you could see Lake Erie, and the wind coming off of that Great Lake was so horrendous that on one hole that was like, I think maybe 230 feet, I threw 2 discs and the wind blew them opposite directions. It was so bad. I also filmed this entire round. I have not yet to edit it, but I will, and I will be posting it on the UFB YouTube channel, so you should be able to see it here, as well as on my channel. So,
yo, you guys remember
watch it twice.
Post round videos on the UFB channel?
Yeah, the 2 or 3 times we did.
Wild times.
Yeah, that was a good time. I forgot to mention, I'm thinking about looking at my list of discs I use for my spring challenge, whatever. I forgot to tell everyone that also I made a big mistake Thursday night in the backyard of last week. Is I pulled these guys out because these are my championship Lunas. I've won Delaware States with these. I won the last Ryder Cup with these. I pulled them out and just started floating them at the basket for fun, and I couldn't miss. And I've already been an inner core only putter. It's perfect for me, never changing from anything. But I tell you what, I was banging everything with those Lunas. So I'm telling you right now, I already told Corey this. I am using the CT Luna. I got a fresh ones in the bag until I have just the most god awful day of all time. And then the inner cores are going right back in the bag. So that's just where I'm at with the putter game. It just happens.
Look, you guys gotta listen to my influence, man. You gotta just change your putters. Just change them all the time. It's the solution.
I mean, I banged that 80-footer with these Lunas, and I was like, "Yep, they're not going
that was
anywhere."
Me with the Invader today. I posted our Discord. I literally threw an Invader on a par 3 to 1 foot, almost at the pole. I took a picture. I was feeling myself. I put it in the Discord like the Invader's sick. Is it the most underrated disc of all time? Next hole, par 3, missed a Mando. But from the drop zone of the Mando, I banged an 80-footer with it. So brought itself back.
Yeah. I will say, that round I did with the spring where I was throwing the Nexus. That was the same round where I hit dead chains, and I put the video in for you guys of that. So yeah, if you guys didn't know and you were not in our Discord, I hit dead center chains with this Nexus, and it spit it directly out. I was 50 feet away from the basket, and I put my arms up. I was so ready for the celebration. And dead center, spit out. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So I don't know. Destined to not ace.
So are you going back to intercourse after this?
If the Lunas, if I have like the most god awful day with these Lunas, yeah, I'm going back to intercourse, no doubt.
Okay. And you also have throwing intercourse?
Mm-hmm.
Which plastic do you throw? Or have you thrown both, like the premium and the
I have
see-through premium?
Yeah. So I have the blue premium thrower. I think it's a 166 weight. It's a good thrower. It's very dead straight, or it can do a little bit of like a turn on it a little bit.
Okay.
So
how does that compare to the Baja Blast?
What do you mean?
I don't think he has a Baja Blast one. I think he has a blue.
I thought you said you had the Baja Blast.
That is the one I'm talking about. Yeah. I have the Baja Blast one.
Why did he give you such a look of confusion when you asked?
Wait. Do you not have like the original blue?
I really prefer Code Red.
I do too, as a flavor.
And Livewire.
Yeah. No, I have.
Which one are you throwing?
The Baja Blast one. The OG. Okay, so
that is not the OG.
That's not Baja Blast. What do you...
Baja Blast is like the greenish blue, like sea plastic.
Yeah, see-through.
Well, mine is kind of see-through. It says second on it. I don't know. I thought that was.
I'm very
OG would be
You're going to have
probably.
to show me that.
We need we need an updated Tulo in the bag on the podcast.
No, we don't.
I'm going to be honest.
We might
have a problem.
Yeah, it's been
on a weekly basis.
It's been at least a week. We need an updated in the bag.
Come on, bro.
All right. Maybe when we're done and we're still talking.
Yes.
All right.
I'll go get the bag and we'll see what we got in there.
All right.
But all right, what do we got next?
There's
What's
the
going
weekly
on?
challenge update. We usually close out with a game. We have an activity today. So this is
Hooray.
spawned again from the Discord. We're all vibing in there. I watched some TGL golf for the first time. Whenever that was a few days ago.
Electric.
And it got my brain spinning on what that would look like in disc golf. I thought it was sick. I kind of got shot down. People hate simulators, apparently. But this ultimately landed on a conversation of if we had to draft a disc golf team, so like a team-based disc golf event similar to like team-based TGL, of 5 players. One of them also has to be the coach. Who would we pick? And we make it realistic. So our first pick can be any player. Second pick is outside of the top 10. Third outside of the top 20. So on and so forth based on point standings per last year. So that is, we are the franchise owners of the Unfinished Business disc golf team. And we're gonna do a little fantasy draft here. Does anybody have any super strong opinions on who our first pick is going to be? If you
We have
What
to-
does,
we have-
what does
so
the
we have to-
coach?
Are we
What does
doing each our own, or we're deciding?
no,
for
this is our
group?
team. We are the
Okay.
collective management here.
What
Okay.
does the coach do outside of?
Any strategic decisions. So if you're playing like
Okay,
alternate
so-
shot or you're trying to sub a player in, anything like that based on strategy. Like in TGL, they have a system where you can make a hole worth twice the points if you want to like risk that. You think you're going to win it. So any of those decisions are going to be resting on the laurels of the coach.
Okay.
The
So
captain.
we have to pick
The
our
captain, yes. I'm so sorry.
we have to pick our first, right, off the bat, and that's any character or any players available to us.
Any character, yeah. Any character
Any
that
character
plays
in the
disc
video
golf.
game is available. Am I crazy to just? Am I crazy to offer Ricky over Gannon?
Yeah.
You think so?
I
Honestly,
haven't even
I'll be
crazy your
hon-
opinion.
I like Ezra.
Ezra over Gannon or Ricky? What's your crazier opinion, Taylor?
Ezra's
My
playing
crazier
hotter.
opinion is like kind of like Paul, specifically as the captain.
I was gonna say, is
I
he
had
gonna
the
be the
same
captain?
opinion,
Yeah.
but we can just. But if we're picking our best player, we don't have to pick Paul now. We just have to make sure we don't pick Paul.
No, so this is the only player that we can pick that is within the top 10. So our second player immediately has to be outside of the top 10.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
I
is
thought they could have,
2025 or
he would
2024?
2024 point standings. The link.
Who's number
It should
6?
be in the chat.
Ah,
So I
dang.
think that
Has to be Gannon, right?
initially I was thinking Paul for the captain, but I also think it is wild to use your first pick on out of his prime torn labrum Paul Macbeth. Like that is probably not the best idea.
I say frick it, and we say Anthony Barella because I guarantee you he'd be the worst captain ever, but it would be so fun.
But hear me out. If we get AB first pick, we are making so much money in merch sale. It is insane.
True.
Like
That's
Yeah.
true.
He is right.
ROI is
Yeah.
through the roof.
So are we choosing the top 10 player that is also a captain?
No, so
Or
we
we-
can make
No.
anybody the captain.
All right,
I was
gonna
just
say,
I was
yeah.
posing, that Paul would be a very good captain.
I agree with your.
If we were smart and we were thinking about that, I'm not joking. AB would be a good pick.
ROI would be so sick on AB.
I know.
Anyone that just has raw talent and Paul can be like, hey guys, do this thing. Hey Gannon, don't straddle the opposite direction and throw a Heiser forehand instead of an Anheuser forehand. Who do we want for this first pick though? That's really
this
what we
is
have.
this is going to be I think from my mind it does come down to like Gannon or AB. Obviously Rick is great. He's just older and not as much on the pure talent side. And also like you got to bring in Rick's mental game in the question here. The guy has not won a major in like 8 years at this point. You got
And also, I don't know if he'd be. Are we considering this the captain as well, or
No.
No, we'll decide that
Okay.
after.
Because I don't think Rick would be a good captain at all.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, we
think-
got to go Gannon.
Gannon's pure talent and also strategic. AB's pure talent and our merch sales would go dummy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, proven winner to a T and also has all the talent in the world. I think it's got to be Gannon.
Corey, we think, yeah, all right, cool. Gannon it is.
Because
Gannon.
he's also blasting really long putts. So if we
Yes.
need him,
But if I didn't truly care about just winning and I was just trying to make
If
money,
this was a true franchise, AB's real strong.
yeah,
and
I'm
we
just
would
saying.
make him captain, and he would be laved up the entire time.
All right,
right.
so I think technically this could be anybody, but we're looking at second pick. We're looking at the 10 to 20 range. So this is
I already
starting with Kyle
Guys.
Klein, ending with Simon Lizotte.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
is
on three, are we gonna say?
Yes, yeah, I'm ready.
'Cause I think
Great.
I think I'm feeling what he's saying.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Matteo.
Simon.
Oh,
guys.
Dude.
Am I crazy to say JP?
Yeah, you're crazy to say JP.
I'm crazy to say JP.
He's washed. He's busted.
I mean,
Bro, we're talking about
pre-torn elbow,
2024.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about pre-torn elbow. That's how I'm considering it.
But again, if we're talking about getting the eyeballs, Simon
Right,
Lizotte
Simon
brings
does
the
get the
eyeball.
yeah, then he does it for that.
Tyler, my defense, on my phone, it goes 10 to 18, and I did not see Simon.
Oh, really? Simon's right at 20, and I was like,
I know. I had to scroll down to see. I was like, where are you seeing Simon?
Yeah.
I saw Matty O because that would be also just as epic for
Yeah.
I do genuinely think, like, when you look at this list, like, I don't think you're going to get more talent than Simon out of any of these players. Like, I think
Simon.
Hammers and Goose look good. Like, as long as you can strategically place Goose in a place where he never has to putt ever in his life, like, maybe that works out. But yeah, I think Simon overall has to be the pick there.
Yeah. Also, if we're looking at, I'm already starting to look at the next group of 10. Like, what is the format going to be? Like, is it going to be, because like then I think strategy actually starts coming into play with the strong suits of some of these players.
Yeah, probably should have brought that up before we started picking, but let's iron that out. Does anybody have any strong suggestions? Some sort of alternate shot I feel like would be sick for like a team-based event.
So what TGL does, just so if anybody doesn't know, it's 3v3 for the first 9 holes. And then it does 6 more holes, and it goes, each person plays against another person twice. And so it's 15 holes. It could be something similar to that.
Let's just say that this is Disc Golf TGL, just to make it simple.
Okay.
Like, let's just go with that assumption.
All right. But it's going to be 4-on-4 with a sub or something like that. Because in TGL, they have 4 guys on a team and one's a sub. So... Yeah. This will be 4v4 with a 5th as a sub or whatever.
Yeah.
So what you're really asking here, Tyler, is do we go Eagle McMahon or do we go Andrew Marweed?
Yep, that is what I'm asking. I'm thinking we go Andrew Marweed for the putting.
I do actually agree with you here.
Putting.
Well, wait.
You guys don't think Joel Freeman's kind of a sneaky pick here?
He is a sneaky pick.
Why do this when we could just take Yuli lower down the list and he's the best putter on tour?
Okay, so that's something.
Yuli?
I have to find Yuli, but
he's at 39.
He's at 39, so
we could get him with our 4th slot.
Yeah, so we could just take literally the best putter on tour with our 4th slot and take Joel Freeman is a sneaky pick.
I think Joel Freeman's kind of enticing.
Or, I think Joel Freeman's very enticing.
If you think about if Cole Redolin can not have his hip hurt, right? Like that's also something to think about.
Is his face ever going to get older?
No.
He's gonna be like to the day he dies. His best hope is to grow a beard.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to say Eagle's an easy pick here, but like that guy is just not. He's not doing it right now.
I mean, honestly, he's a great putter though too.
But you got to think, like, this is different than.
Yeah, the pressure, at least for like the 4v4 side, right, is probably different than straight singles.
Yeah. And if he's just stinking, he's on the bench.
True.
He's our sub.
I'm thinking it's got to be somebody here who, I don't know. What is everyone feeling?
Joel is a net negative for vibes of a team environment. That is something we got to consider.
Yeah. I feel like Luke Taylor is really good for just like a straight shot player.
Yeah, he's just so young in the
I just like Marweed for having a forehand guy and a putter.
Yeah.
But I'm down for anything, honestly. This is going to be a crap.
in my opinion, it's Joel Freeman or Eagle McMahon for this slot. I don't know which is which, but I don't know who to go with, but that's who in my head makes.
I do, thinking through it more to Corey's point, like I feel like Eagle probably has the highest highs, but also the lowest lows. But if you're in a situation where you can sub him out, like just brother, you don't have it today, like that might be the move.
I'm down for
we also get Simon and Eagle.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. We had Simon already, so I think we go with Eagle.
Yeah. The only other thing I could say is like we're going with Eagle, but just to touch on Marweed, he probably has the highest.
Do you have his consent to do that?
Forehand, yeah, actually, he has like the highest ace during a tournament factor because he just throws a forehand in so much, and I feel like that would be electric in like a stadium. but
Yeah.
let's go Eagle because I feel like with no pressure, Eagle would just like have the freedom to rip.
If Eagles just having a good time, like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
all right,
All right, so that brings us-
with pick
yeah.
4 has to be outside of the top 30 was the stipulation. So that starts at Vino Makala. Some names in here: Bradley Williams, Luke Humphreys, Ezra Aderhold, Austin Turner. At this point, we don't have a guy that I feel like is like the de facto captain, and I feel like
I feel like we use
captain-
the captain.
Yeah, I definitely.
I
Do
like.
you have any objections to that?
Nah, I like Yuli here. Good putter too. Got to have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And him being the captain, I can see him actually saying like, "Eagle, I'm sorry,
Yes,
we got to put you on
You
the
gotta-
bench."
you don't have it today.
So,
And then he
am
does that goofy laugh that he does in Jonas practice rounds.
Am I crazy to from there suggest Sully?
Yeah,
He's
so
got a good
last pick
forehand.
here, we're at our 5th pick. This has to be outside of the top 50.
Oh.
So Sully is
that's
48.
shoot.
Sully's
I was
ineligible,
flipping. I was flipping in
unfortunately.
my head. My bad. Oh, that really stinks because that would have been a nice forehand guy to steal.
You know what name's popping into my mind?
I
There
know
are a
what
lot of
popped
names
into
out
my
here.
head.
Corey, you got a name? We'll say it at the same time.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Nathan Queen.
Yeah.
We need the lefty love, dude.
Yeah.
That is true.
I
And
mean,
he's
that does- yeah,
consistent.
that-
He's consistent too.
I-
That
Honestly, it
does
was
sub in
either
our
that-
forehand, but
To me, it was either that or Calvin Longquist, because I feel like Cal just being like a big bomb child
yeah.
would
Yeah.
be cool. It would be like I can picture Yuli taking him by the shoulders and he's like aiming him and he's like, all right, throw it that way, and then he just kind of.
Yes,
So I
sir.
feel like Nathan would be a better
Okay,
suit for a team.
we could also just take Albert though, and you get more distance
don't-
and a good forehand.
But we don't need that. We just
I think the argument is that it would be nice to have we have a dedicated putter. We have our long throws. It would be nice to have one guy who is just really strong in his forehand. And we took Gannon, who definitely uses the forehand well, but he has said himself he just uses the forehand when he has to, and then tries not to use it anywhere else.
well, if we're just
Yeah,
gonna get
but-
a guy who bombs the forehand, we'll just take Silver.
Yeah, but Nathan's lefty, so it's
Right.
Nathan's the same, but I'm saying you're just how much more
Nathan Queen
distance
is
are you
also
getting
a
with
very
Albert?
good putter.
What
I will
happens when we
say.
get in the woods?
It's true.
Nathan
Maybe
Queen
that's it. Maybe
is
that's it.
dominant in the woods.
That's Yuli's not. No, Yuli's not
I
our
was
guy.
gonna throw the name Jake Mon out there. You guys know I love Jake Mon. Young gun.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Got some promise. You get Yuli to mentor that guy for a little bit.
We definitely don't have no forehand magic there though.
That is true.
But I don't know how much it really. I mean, we have competent forehanders. They're just not amazing.
I don't, I don't mind Nathan Queen either because I mean, like you said, you get in the woods, you just sub somebody out that kind of is having an off day, off release, and then you've got just instant again, great putter, good in the woods. I like Nathan Queen. I mess with that.
I'm fine with Nathan.
or hear me out. Do we want a spectacle because it's simulator stadium golf? Do we go with 149th Brody Smith?
Holy
Now
moly.
we're thinking ROI. now we're
That's
truly
crazy.
thinking
ROI.
Well, we didn't do it with AB.
It's true.
Maybe
So do you
Brody's our
want-
guy. Brody can
Are we
go pick
going
his nose
Nathan
and
or Nathan or
open
Brody?
cards and somehow make money.
If I want to play well, I'm looking
I'm
for
going
Nathan
Nathan,
Queen.
yeah.
But if
Yeah.
we were basing this off of like the world is our oyster with our thought of trying to like bring publicity and everything like that, then yeah, Brody would sure.
Could have
Well, I'm
gone,
asking,
could have gone AB
which
and
one?
then Silas Schultz right now and just had the most drip on our team.
Just maximum aura, dude. Holy moly.
I saw Silas Schultz's name and I was like,
I did. Yeah, the issue is like
I'm down for whatever you guys want.
we can go Nathan Queen. I'm
I
fine
think
with
Nathan Queen's the actual pick
Yeah,
here.
let's go Nathan.
Yep.
All right, so team unfinished business for disc golf TGL is Gannon Burr, Simon Lizotte, Eagle McMahon. Yuli's gonna have the C on his chest, and then Nathan Queen as spot 5. I believe in that team. I feel like
I think it'd be very solid. I hope they do something like this.
And again, if we did pick AB, we would sell out a ton of merch from that team. Well, joke's on you. This doesn't even have to exist. There's unfinished business merch that you can buy today. So if you go to the link in our description, you can go buy some merch. If you want to support these players in ways outside of our fake TGL, you can go get some Tour Series discs at foundationdisc.com. We'd appreciate, again, if you use the link in our description, help us out. That is an affiliate link. And we'd also very much appreciate if you liked, subscribed, joined the Discord, and also subscribed on Spotify and Apple Music. Download both apps and rate and review it. And any other shout outs? Finish Line 20% off right now at infinitedisc.com. Shout out Finish Line.
20.
Oh, wow.
Sponsorship shout outs? Anybody?
That's it, bro.
Shout out to my mom.
Birdie Disc
There it is.
Golf. They're about to have a special Marvel come out for Paul Macbeth Foundation. And then Finish Line Discs. Go get your Finish Line Discs on infinitedisc.com. Finish 20 gets 20% off all of them. Another round. It's pretty cool, right? NSH, they freaking make discs the wrong way.
They freaking make discs.
They freaking make discs.
And stick around for the live stream where we are going to be reviewing Tyler's in the Bag. We're super excited.
Gotta go get it.